Deep within the biblical story, there is a narrative that challenges our understanding of the past. An ambitious human project to reach the heavens, which ended in chaos and confusion. What led the builders of the Tower of Babel to challenge God? What did divine intervention really mean? Today, we will unravel the hidden secrets behind this mysterious story, explore its symbolism, and discover how its legacy continues to shape humanity. Get ready for a journey through time and faith, because what you thought you knew about the Tower of Babel is just the beginning of the mystery. Before we dive into this fascinating tale, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and let us know in the comments which country you are watching us from and at what age you first heard about this fantastic story. The story of the Tower of Babel is found in the book of Genesis, chapter 11, verses 1 to 9. This story occupies a fascinating place in the biblical narrative, situated right after the Great Flood and before the call of Abraham, marking a crucial point in the history of humanity according to the scriptures. After the flood, the descendants of Noah began to repopulate the earth. They all shared a single language and could communicate without barriers, which allowed them to work together towards a common future. It seemed a promising time for humanity, a second chance after the devastation. The region of Shinar, mentioned in the text, is key to understanding this account. Scholars associate this place with the fertile plain of Mesopotamia, located between the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, which today corresponds to part of Iraq. This region is not only the cradle of civilization, but also the likely setting where the events of Babel took place. The first cities, such as Uruk and Babylon, flourished there, and their inhabitants demonstrated remarkable ingenuity in constructing monumental structures like ziggurats, which may have inspired the narrative of the tower. With this historical and spiritual foundation, the story of the Tower of Babel begins to take shape. But what really motivated humanity to build something so ambitious? What secrets and symbolism lie behind this act of apparent unity? The answer begins to reveal itself as we delve into the details of the tower's construction. It remains intriguing, and the true mystery is about to begin. With a unique language that united them, humanity decided to embark on an unprecedented project, to build a tower that would reach the sky. It was not just an architectural work, it was a symbol of their greatness, power, and unity. In Genesis 11 verse 4, their ambition is clearly stated: "Come, let us build ourselves a city, with a tower that reaches to the heavens. Thus we will become famous and will not be scattered over the face of the whole earth." This desire encapsulated not only their fear of dispersion, but also a profound need to transcend, to immortalize their existence through a work that would challenge themselves and the heavens. The plan was more than just building a tower. It was to erect a city that would become the center of the known world, a place where humanity could remain united. For this, they employed advanced technology for their time: fire-baked bricks and bitumen as adhesive. These materials were not only innovative but also durable, ideal for a colossal construction. This technique, specifically mentioned in the biblical text, was a reflection of human ingenuity and its ability to shape the environment according to its aspirations. The tower, which was probably a ziggurat like those built in Mesopotamia, was not just a physical structure. It was a monument to pride and self-satisfaction. The builders did not want to depend on God. They wanted to depend solely on themselves. Each brick laid was a testament to their collective effort, but also a cry of independence from the Creator. It was their way of showing that, together, they could achieve any goal, even one that brought them closer to the very heavens. However, this act of ambition contained a profound problem: the implicit challenge to divine will. Its construction represented something more than a technical achievement. It was a declaration of human power, an attempt to reach divinity by their own means. But could this project stand before the eyes of God? The fate of the tower and the city would soon be sealed. Divine intervention would change the course of history and turn this symbol of unity into an eternal reminder of the limits of human pride. What happened next marked humanity forever. The Grand Tower rose higher and higher, a monument to human ingenuity and ambition. But what the builders did not know was that their work would not go unnoticed. According to Genesis 11 verse 5, the Lord descended to see the city and the tower which the men were building. In the eyes of God, this project was not a simple act of cooperation or creativity. It was a reflection of excessive pride, an attempt to usurp his place in heaven. God perceived that humanity, in its apparent unity, was taking a dangerous step towards self-sufficiency and the rejection of his sovereignty. Men were not seeking to glorify their Creator, but themselves. Instead of obeying the divine command to disperse and populate the earth, they sought to centralize, to build a legacy that would allow them to avoid oblivion. Faced with this growing rebellion, God decided to intervene. The solution was as simple as it was ingenious. Confuse their single language? By introducing different languages among them, communication broke down immediately. The orders that were once clear became unintelligible. The builders, unable to understand each other, dropped their tools. The cooperation that had made the tower possible crumbled along with their project. Where there was once unity, now there was chaos and disorganization. This act of intervention not only halted the construction of the tower, but also forced humans to fulfill God's original purpose, to spread across the earth. The communities separated and spread out, taking with them new languages and cultures. The great city and its ambitious tower were left abandoned, an incomplete monument that symbolized both the power and the limitations of humanity. The place was called Babel, a name that in Hebrew is related to the word Babel, which means confusion. Since then, Babel has become an eternal symbol of the chaos that can arise when humanity allows pride and unchecked ambition to dominate its actions. But this intervention was not just a punishment. It was also a lesson. The diversity of languages and cultures that emerged from that moment transformed the world, filling it with richness and plurality. However, the story of the Tower of Babel poses a question that still resonates today. What happens when human pride seeks to challenge the limits imposed by something greater than ourselves? The symbolism of this story and the questions it raises lead us to reflect even more. But the mystery doesn't end here. What interpretations and hidden meanings does this story reveal to us? The story of the Tower of Babel, although brief in its biblical narration, has generated centuries of debate and reflection on its meaning. From a theological perspective, many interpret this story as a divine punishment towards humanity for their excessive pride, for attempting to reach a power that did not belong to them. However, others see it in a different light, not as a punishment, but as a lesson on the importance of diversity. In the end, the Tower of Babel transcends its apparent simplicity. It is a tale that blends theology, history, and symbolism, inviting us to reflect on unity, diversity, and the limits of human ambition. But what does this story mean for us in the present? That question leads us to explore its legacy and connection with the modern world. The narrative is not yet over, and what this story leaves us is as relevant today as it was in the past. The story of the Tower of Babel has left an indelible mark on the culture, religion, and collective imagination of humanity. This tale, brief yet laden with symbolism, has been interpreted and reimagined in countless works of art, literature, and music. Renaissance painters like Peter Bruegel the Elder depicted the tower as a colossal structure that embodied both human power and its fragility. In literature, authors like Jorge Luis Borges and Franz Kafka have explored the mysteries of Babel, using its story as a metaphor for ambition, language, and human disconnection. Even in religion, this narrative remains a theological pillar that explains the origin of languages and symbolizes the need to recognize the limits of human pride. However, beyond its cultural influence, Babel leaves us with a timeless lesson: the importance of balancing ambition with humility. The human desire to achieve great goals is not inherently negative. In fact, it is one of the driving forces of progress. But when that desire turns into an act of defiance or arrogance, the consequences can be catastrophic. Babel reminds us that, while human achievements are impressive, we must never forget our connection to something greater than ourselves. Another powerful aspect of this story is its symbolism of diversity. What was initially perceived as an act of confusion turned out to be a blessing for humanity. The cultural and linguistic diversity that emerged from the dispersion of Babel is one of the greatest treasures of our world. Each language, tradition, and perspective adds depth and richness to our collective experience. Instead of being an obstacle, differences challenge us to learn, grow, and find new ways of communication. Today, the story of Babel has a special resonance in a globalized world. We live in an era where humanity is more interconnected than ever, but we also face enormous challenges in communication and understanding between cultures. Technology has removed physical barriers, but new barriers often arise in the form of prejudice, ideological differences, and a lack of empathy. Babel reminds us that unity does not come from homogeneity, but from cooperation and respect for our differences. Reflecting on Babel in the present, we find a hopeful message. Although our languages and cultures may be different, humanity has the potential to build bridges instead of towers. And perhaps, in the end, that is what really matters. Not how much we can reach for the sky, but how much we can come closer to each other. Thus concludes this fascinating story, whose mystery continues to resonate in the heart of humanity. Thank you for reaching the end of this video, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel, activate notifications, and let us know in the comments from which country or city you are watching us and what you think about this extraordinary biblical story. God bless you.